Okay, I just discovered something right before we came back from break. Sal Capaccio joins the show now on the West Her hotline. Good morning, it's Jeremy and Joe. So, good morning, Sal, by the way.
I'm waiting with bated breath on what you discovered. This is very, very. It's a great tease. I love it. Well, good morning to you, by the way.
So I saw on Kevin Oestreicher, who we had on yesterday, Locked On Ravens, a couple other Ravens people that I follow, were reacting to the title, whatever was Lamar snubbed again, and I'm looking, I'm like, snubbed in what? What was he snubbed on September 4th? I'm like looking around, like, what's happening today that would have been that? And I think what I found it to be is this NFL Network graphic of, I don't know if you've seen it, Sal, of like, this is like every year, right? Like all the players, one of every team, like walking towards, like in this one, it's the Golden Gate Bridge, and the Lombardi Trophy is on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge. And I guess Lamar Jackson is not the Ravens player in the image, which is that the snub they're talking about? I don't know. Falele is the player in there for the Ravens, which is a bold choice.
That is weird. I got to be honest with you.
There's two.
I would feel it was weird. I mean, wait. What if the same graphic existed? I saw the graphic because I think Tom Pelissero tweeted it out this morning.
Yeah, he did. Yes. Yep.
And what if it wasn't Josh Allen, which it is for the Bills, and instead it was David Edwards or Osiris Torrance? Because literally that's exactly what it would be like.
I think you might have a few Bills fans who would be like, hey, what the hell? What's going on? I mean, I texted my brother about that graphic because the player at the front, or I guess in the back, is Jordan Mailata, the Eagles guard or tackle. It's not Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley or A.J. Brown. It's Jordan Mailata. But like every other team went with their quarterback or their best player. So I don't know. Weird choice. But you want to give the O-lineman, I guess, some props somewhere.
I guess. I think that's right? I'm trying to think, is there anything in this graphic that would be like they have contracts with certain companies and they can't use the graphic? I'm like, no, it's not. There's nothing like that here. It doesn't look like that at all. It's just an NFL graphic. The road to Super Bowl. For
what is it?
50-60. We're 60. LX 60.
LX.
Yeah, that's right. And then Levi's Stadium, 75 kilometers away. But did you see this? They do not use miles. They use kilometers. What's going on here?
Yeah, wait a minute. Do they do that in San Francisco? Do they use?
No.
They don't use kilometers, right? That's very strange.
No.
Also, is there some significance to picking 75? It's not Super Bowl 75. See, that's not why you would do that.
I'm reading, I'm looking at the graphic. It says 157 days till Super Bowl LX 60. And the first comment is someone, what a strange graphic. Where is Hurts? Right? That's exactly right.
This is the NFL Australia graphic. That's why Mailata's on there. And that's why it has kilometers.
Thank you. But that wasn't...
We had no idea. Thank you. But Tom Pelissero tweeted it out as if it was just the regular NFL graphic.
The regular one...
There was no context to what, who's, where it came from.
The regular one has them all walking towards Levi Stadium, where you see Levi Stadium. Barkley is the centerpiece. Allen's up there. Burrow's up there. Mahomes, Jackson, Watt, Purdy.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, Josh. I feel like Tom Pelissero, though, also does not know that that's the NFL Australia one.
Or he does, and he just doesn't care, and he wants everybody to. Yeah. He wants everybody to get in the comments a little bit.
Wants to stir it up a little bit here on the morning of the season. So we'll get to a lot on the Bills at practice and injury reports and what the Ravens have going on, as well as Sal joins here with just a couple days to go until the season opener for the Bills and the season opener in the NFL tonight. So let's start with some roster mechanics and management, though, because people might have been confused when they saw that Jordan Poyer was getting waived yesterday. But explain basically what's going on between Poyer, Gabe Davis. There's a lot of practice squad intricacies here, it feels like.
Yeah, speaking of comments, Joe. Open up the comments on this because the Dolphins fans are in their comments about this with the Bills because they have no idea. And that's okay. I wouldn't expect them to know. I wouldn't expect tons of Dolphins fans to follow me or other reporters in Buffalo. But the comments are really funny when you see them and then you actually know what happened, okay? So here's the deal, everybody, just so everybody's very clear on this, okay? The Bills signed Jordan Poyer to the practice squad. We know that last week. There is a rule in the NFL that you can only have a certain number of veteran practice squad guys. I think it's 5, whatever. Okay, certain guys that have been in the league a certain amount of years can be on your practice squad. The Bills also signed Gabe Davis to the practice squad. Well, because then by signing Gabe Davis, they would be over that number. They had to release somebody from the practice squad. That's Jordan Poyer. However, only releasing him, Joe, I'm not kidding, literally for 2 minutes. 3:59 p.m. yesterday, Jordan is released. They sign Gabe. But then Gabe goes on practice squad injured. So he's no longer actually counting on the practice squad. He's on the injured list. That opens the spot back up for Jordan Poyer literally 2 minutes later to resign to the practice squad. It was a paper procedural transaction to simply allow Gabe to come on for 2 minutes. And then because 4 o'clock, by the way, why 3:59, 4:01? 4 p.m. is when the league business ends each day, right? You know that from like transactions and things you've seen in the past.
Yep.
So at 3:59 p.m. yesterday, Wednesday, they had to make the move by then to get Gabe on. Once he's on, at 4 p.m., they can put Gabe on injured, and then they can re-sign Jordan at 4:01 p.m. Does that make sense?
That does.
So now Jordan Poyer is back. He signed yesterday. He's back. Like Jordan Poyer is back on the practice squad. But you're not going to see that move until today's wire. So yesterday, the yesterday transaction wire is the one thing they did, which is Jordan Poyer's gone and Gabe Davis is back. And oh my God, even though I put it out there that was going to happen, I'm telling you, it's so funny. Like reading the Dolphins fans and their comments was just really funny last night because they had no idea. And, oh my God, the Hard Knocks. He said he wanted to be in Buffalo and he keeps receipts. All the LOLs, right? Well, I know he's already back. So now Gabe Davis goes on the injured practice squad injured list.
Yep.
So nothing really changes. At the end of the day, the only thing that truly happened was Gabe Davis was added to the Bills practice squad /injured. And what that means is very important, Joe, by the way. Gabe Davis has to sit. He cannot play for 4 games, and he cannot practice with the team through that first 4 weeks and 4 games. He is a practice squad injured player, just like an injured reserve player in that regard. So he cannot practice or play for at least 4 games. Once that is over and he's healthy, then the Bills will have to make a decision about practice squad and 53 and all that. But that's down the road. And Gabe Davis, in the meantime, is a free agent because he's a practice squad player. Any team could still sign him and put him on their 53. I don't anticipate that happening, but it is just notable that is possible.
Okay, right. It's not any different because he's a veteran. Like if the Steelers, if he got healthy and in a month the Steelers called him and said, you want to be on the active roster, they would have the opportunity to do
Joe,
that.
they could call him now and do it.
Okay. Interesting.
They wouldn't have to wait a month. You know what I mean? Like if they called him and said, we'll put you on the 53 and we'll just wait it out with your health, they could do that too. And he would have to agree, obviously. He's a free agent. But, you know, that's just something that's a possibility. But in the meantime, Jordan Poyer is back in the practice squad. It was just a paper transaction yesterday. So if you saw that come across that he was waived, that's all it was because Jordan, to make room, and he's being a good teammate and a good, loyal person to the Bills saying, yeah, I'll do that. No problem. I'll literally be waived and goes re-sign a piece of paper 2 minutes later to come back on. Gabe Davis is now on the practice squad in the injured list, and he will have to miss 4 games before he can start practicing with the team.
Okay. Not one more on Gabe, not to spend the whole time on Davis here, but when McDermott was asked about him yesterday, did he sound to you, I forget his exact phrasing, but did he sound to you like the plan is for him to eventually be on the field, like at some point later in the season, mostly?
I think that the expectation is for when he's healthy, he could help this team. Let's put it that way, right? Like that's possible. It's a tough spot because I just think that even the coaching staff probably thinking, hey, we don't know what's going to happen once he gets healthy. We don't know where our guys will be, who's going to be playing what role. But I've always felt, Joe, that if you're going to bring Gabe Davis in here, it's not for him to sit on the practice squad all year, right? I just don't think that's the plan for a guy like Gabe Davis, who's 26, who's been with your organization, who's had some of the biggest, one of the biggest games in playoff history, and he's still young. Like I said, I just never felt that would be the plan for him to just sit on the practice squad all year. So we'll see where it goes at the end of the day. One more roster mechanics here that I want to go over for everybody. I keep getting asked, Joe, why is Dwayne Carter not on IR yet, and who are they signing? Because once he goes on IR, they'll have a spot open. They could put him on IR right now, tomorrow, whatever, okay? And that would open a spot on the 53. Don't be surprised if they don't put him on injured reserve until after the game on Sunday. You say, why would you do that? Well, because, as we've talked about, Joe, all vested veterans, guys who are in the league 4 years or more, if they're on the week 1 roster, their salaries are guaranteed. So let's just say the Bills put Dwayne Carter on IR today, and then they sign, let's say, Jordan Phillips to the 53.
Yeah.
Come Sunday, Jordan Phillips' salary is guaranteed. Well, listen, you got to think about all the financials that go along with salary cap and cash and all that. So since you're just going to have guys inactive anyway, they might just want to wait until next week to do that, so that way they don't have to guarantee another salary.
Gotcha. Sal Capaccio on the West Her hotline. Let's get to the Barnes Firm Injury Report, Sal, brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help, call 1-800-8-million. So let's start with Tre'Davious White and the Bills report. He was not on the field. I don't know if we got didn't really feel like we got any further indication on who would play in his stead on Sunday if he can't, but what did they sound like? And it's not really surprising, right, that White still wouldn't be ready to come back?
Right. I don't know if he'll practice today. Sean McDermott did not rule him out for today, for Sunday. I'm sorry. He did not rule him out for Sunday. That was very key. He said that, the Tre'Davious White wasn't going to practice. He didn't practice. And then we knew that Christian Benford would be limited. He was out there. We also learned they're both dealing with groin injuries. That's exactly what it was. And then we find out that Keon Coleman pops up on the injury report with a groin injury, and he was limited. We can talk about that in a minute. But as far as Tre'Davious is concerned, we don't know who would start in his place if he isn't able to go. Sean McDermott was asked about both Jamarcus Ingram and Dorian Strong. He said they'll be ready, meaning, hey, if one of them has to get called upon, they'll be ready. I've gone back and forth on this. I think it could go either way. I've always said I find it tough to believe the Bills would put Dorian Strong, a sixth-round rookie, in this type of environment right away on the field against Lamar Jackson and Sunday Night Football. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think they do like Dorian Strong. But the other part is you might want to do that because then Jamarcus Ingram can actually be freed up to do the other roles he has on a team instead of pigeonholing him and saying, hey, you have to do this. Now he can prepare to be the dime safety and a nickel back and go in a pinch for somebody. Whereas Dorian Strong, you could say, hey, this is your one job all week. Just go play this spot, this corner, go do your job. And that might be a little easier to put on the rookie.
Yeah. It's funny because they did once start a sixth-round rookie in week
That's
one.
Correct.
It was Christian Benford, but I don't remember, maybe you do, if he was having just like a very, very good training camp and there was a build-up to Benford playing versus Strong, who I'm not sitting here saying he's had a bad camp, but it's just not somebody we've been in here talking much about.
No, that's right. And thinking about if he has to play, like, Chopin Bulldog asked me yesterday, what have you seen from him? Mm-hmm. What kind of game does he offer? His name is Strong, and no pun intended, he is a strong physical guy. That's what he is. And even Jamarcus Ingram asked him yesterday, what have you seen from Dorian? And he said, well, his last name is Strong, and he's strong, and he does play physical. That's his game. He's long, Joe. Like, if you look at him, like, he looks like an NFL corner, he has that kind of body build. And I always said, too, like, Dorian Strong's dad is a professional bodybuilder and was a professional weightlifter.
I don't know if he's so when you say strong, he's strong.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. And so the man knows his way around a weight room, right? I mean, like he'll understand like how to be physical and play at that type of level. So I think you're getting that from him if he has to play, but he is a rookie, and you might have to live with some growing pains there, no matter when that is, whether he plays on Sunday or any other time.
Sal Capaccio on the Western Hotline. So Keon Coleman popped up on the report. Was there any indication of it before? Is this one of those that could have been during practice?
Okay, so it could have been. I would tell you from my perspective, just from my observation, Keon Coleman was out there yesterday. He was practicing, and then I saw him afterwards in the field house walking around, walking in the locker room, talking with people. I never saw him with a trainer. So my guess is, this is just something that might have been bothering him or lingering that they backed off on him yesterday. That's my assumption. But I don't know. It could have been something because what happens now, and the reason I say that, folks, is as opposed to preseason, in the regular season, we cannot watch all of practice, right? So is it possible that during practice, while the media wasn't there, that something happened and he had to go see trainers and he took some reps off and yes, there's totally possible. I just know that when we went back out as a media and the players came back in from practice, Keon Coleman was with everybody and just kind of walking through the field house and then walking in the locker room when I was in there. So that's all I saw from that. And so I'm not going to make an assumption here that he wasn't necessarily, that something didn't happen. I'm just going to say that there's nothing that I saw from that regard.
Anything else in the report we're talking about here? Shakir and Bass both being on it, limited and full?
In Bass, it's concerning because he's been dealing with the pelvic injury and he's still limited, but they haven't signed a kicker. They did work some guys out last week, so I guess that's really good news and trending right. Very good news for Khalil Shakir. Someone asked me yesterday, why did Sean McDermott say Khalil Shakir is limited when he was full? Well, this happens a lot, as you remember, throughout the weeks last year. So Sean meets with us before practice, and I'm sure the information he got from trainers was, hey, we're going to have Khalil limited today and all that. Okay, he tells the media. And then Khalil probably, before going out to practice, talks with people, and they feel, you know what, you're pretty good. You can go out there and do everything today. And that's how that works. So, there's no doubt that, something can change in the hour and a half that he gets the information in the morning by the time the guys get out on the field exactly what's going to happen. So, that's what happened there. And then I would say, again, the reason Dwayne Carter is on the injury report is because he is still officially on the active roster, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's still on the active roster through Sunday. They could put him on IR. That's fine. I'm just telling everybody that it might not happen either.
Okay. Would that be what do you think would be happening there? It would maybe the original report about a torn Achilles not be fully correct potentially? Like, would there be any reason, I guess,
no.
roster-wise, why they wouldn't want to put him on IR yet?
Yeah, I just explained a little while ago because the reason why is
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm saying no, he's out for the year. Like that's going to happen, Joe. I'm just saying it might not happen this week.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, but that's why. But because he's not on IR, they have to list him on the report.
Right. For the Ravens side of things, Sal, Jair Alexander was limited. He hadn't practiced in like over a month, and then Isiah Likely and Pat Ricard not there. And I mentioned this with you a little bit yesterday. I really do feel like if Likely and Ricard can't go on Sunday, that the Ravens, like some of the stuff I don't even know if they have a backup fullback. Like, I wonder how much that they do offensively they just won't even have available to them on Sunday if those guys can't play.
Yeah, I agree that this is a really, really big blow to them if they don't have both these guys. Because we talk a lot about a Likely in the passing game, and of course he's a big part of that. But really, the running game, he is a big, big part of it. And then, Joe, you remember last year how the game started in Baltimore, obviously, right, with the long run from Derrick Henry. Who had the big wham block on Ed Oliver? It was Patrick Ricard. I believe it was, right? He was on the field, and I think he's the one that came across the formation. But either way, this is a really big part of their run game as well. When they have Patrick Ricard and they go with a heavy formation, they can put Likely and Ricard on the field, and Likely can do everything. He can catch, he can block. He's a big part of what they do. Isiah Likely's not going to play, right? I mean, that's been the report, and I would anticipate that being the case. He's been dealing with a foot injury, broke his foot a while ago, so he's not going to play. Ricard, we now know, by the way, is dealing with a calf injury. Much like Christian Benford and Tre'Davious White, the Bills didn't reveal the exact nature of the injury, but now teams have to put the exact nature of the injury on. John Harbaugh had said it's a soft tissue injury. Now we know it's a calf injury. He has not practiced since, I think, August 14th. So that's not trending well for him to be able to be out there. Today's a big day for all these guys. It's a big day for Tre'Davious White. It's a big day for Patrick Ricard. We'll see if he's out there. I would say, yeah. The other part about this, Joe, is I think with or without Patrick Ricard, it really kind of dictates how the Bills play the Ravens. Now, they could still go, and I guess they do have somebody in their practice squad who, they could call up and be a fullback and play that role. But I think that limits what they want to do as far as how often they want to run heavy personnel and 12 and 22 and, two running backs, with counting him, and two tight ends. And that would mitigate how much the Bills go, or at least dictate how much the Bills run a base defense, maybe how much the Bills run nickel, right? So I think all of that is just such a big part of this strategy and what's going on here. And then you have Jair Alexander, who did return to practice with the knee injury, but yesterday was Jair Alexander's first day of practice, I think, since August 4th. Like, literally, he was out a month, I believe. So even if he plays Sunday, like, I'm wondering, like, if you're a Ravens fan or reporter and you're thinking, okay, like, what is he going to be if he plays on Sunday?
And he got there late, so, like, there would have been no spring work or anything, right, for him, OTAs and minicamp.
Yeah, pretty much, that's right.
Because he got there in July. All right, Sal, the game tonight, you got a vested interest, and I feel like, did you watch Monday with North Carolina and Belichick? Were you watching in on that?
Oh, I was watching, baby. I was reveling in it.
Yeah, I feel like tonight, if the Cowboys are getting just beat I think that you might get similar reactions from people on social. Like everyone just like same thing, reveling in Jerry Jones just getting embarrassed to start the season.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. The Eagles are pretty heavy favorites tonight. I think they should take care of business tonight. I mean, I just don't know what the Cowboys' plan is this year. Are they trying to not be that good? And I don't mean by like intentionally. Like, are they okay with I hate the tank talk because I really don't think teams generally try to lose, right? The players aren't trying to lose. Mm-hmm. But I do think sometimes organizations say, hey, we know we're not going to be that good and we're okay with it because we're okay with getting a high pick. Are they in that boat or are they trying to win? I don't know what they are. I know the Eagles have a really good roster and they're the Super Bowl champions, defending Super Bowl champions, and I think that they're going to take care of business tonight.
Also, I saw this earlier. If the Eagles win tonight, they will be 500 in their history. They will get to 500 for their all-time. The Bills, by the way,
all-time regular season history.
Yep. The Bills, by the way, they're below 500. They're 19 games below 500. I was looking at this, 486 and 505. So they should get there in I don't know how long will it take them to make that up. 2 years, 3 years. They'll get that.
What is their record now?
The Bills are all-time 486 and 505. They'll get to 500 with Allen at quarterback.
Yeah, with Allen at quarterback. It might take a few years. You're right. I mean, if you win, let's say if you could win 12 games this year, let's just say you get to 498 and 5, that would be 510.
Yep. Within
like
2 more years. Yeah. They'll get there. Thank you, Sal, and we'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, hey, I'm going to be out at Northtown Kia today, so come on out. If everybody wants to come out, I'll be out at Northtown Kia. That is on Sheridan Drive, and of course, we are going to be doing the Extra Point show from out there today. I will be, so come on out, say hi. Paula's Donuts while supplies last. We got some WGR swag as well. So 10 to 12, Northtown Kia. Come on out, say hi. I'm going to be doing the Extra Point show live from there.
Awesome. Thank you, Sal.
You got it.